Hello everyone, and welcome to Snowfell Charm School, where we use tarot cards to analyze personality, and we use personality to analyze relationships. I'm going to start with a routine security check, just to add a little bit of serotonin to the environment. I find that it leaves for a pleasant classroom experience, so if you don't mind indulging me, just hold still for a moment while I brush up around you, and polish up, of course. Gonna start with around your face, those ears, of course, as well as your mouth. If you don't mind lifting your chin, I'm gonna get into the collarbone, the shoulders, and then we're going to polish up all the work we have just done. Around those ears. Lift that chin for me one more time. Beautiful. Get under that neck, the collarbone, and those shoulders. Lovely. Alright, if you don't mind giving me a little spin, I'm going to brush up the back of you. Just behind the head, the back of the neck, the shoulders, and down the spine. So you don't mind sitting nice and tall for me. Very good. We're going to brush all that work we just did, or we're going to polish all that work we just did. The neck, the shoulders, and the spine. Keep nice and tall for me. Perfect. Now maintain that posture as you spin back around for me. Perfect. I'm just going to finish off by brushing off your heart as well as your stomach. Alright, so activate those abs for me. Nice stable core. I'm going to polish that up. First the heart, then the stomach. Lovely. Wonderful. Alright, I'm going to lay out a case study. Oh, for those of you who do not know, I'm your host, Evangeline, and all my assessments are done using the Big 5 personality assessment along with the DSM-5 personality disorders. We use these tools to radically accept personality, as they are impossible to eradicate, and to aim as such would be inappropriate, to say the least. Alright, so I'm going to use my tarot cards to lay out a case study where we're going to identify a client, we're going to identify their personality, and we're going to identify in which ways they naturally absorb dopamine, serotonin, or oxytocin, or how they may produce it in others. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. If you're not, that's totally your choice, and I completely respect that. If you want, while I pull out some cards to do a case study, you can take a few deep breaths for me, just to settle into the environment. And again, to boost that serotonin. These two. This one. Let's put that there. These 4. This one here. This one here. If you're interested in any of the personalities that we've already reviewed, I have done a review on narcissism, obsessive personality, well, narcissistic personality, obsessive personality, as well as borderline personality, dependent and avoidant personality. We also did stable personality. We've done schizoid, and I believe that is all that we've done so far. We did do a repeat of narcissism, so you can expect to see some repeats. That's just an indicator that we need to do even more of a deep dive into the personality review. Towards the end of our session here, we will provide some compatible matches for those who do identify with the personality that we are working with today. If you do not identify, you may find that if you do not identify with our client today, you may find that you might be a good match for our client today. Each personality has a few options, of course, so don't think that you have to stick, it's not just one. Not one relationship is going to work for every personality type that may be suitable for. And of course, personality, although relatively fixed, can be altered or changed through mindfulness, honestly. Once you know where you are on the personality spectrum, where in my case, I do a deep dive on extroversion and agreeability. I find those to be the most pertinent to a social interaction. Once you know what your level of extroversion is or your level of agreeability is, it is then your choice whether or not you wish to maintain that personality, which is exceptionally respectable, or you may wish to alter that in some shape or form. All of my reviews, although they can seem a bit harsh, are not critiques. They are an attempt to provide gratitude and a description. Okay. I'm going to show you the bottom of the deck, although it has not been pertinent in our case studies thus far. Pardon me while I reassemble myself. Lovely. All right. We have the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Cups. Again, it may show up to be of importance. It has yet to for the few personality reviews that I have done already. I am going to say that our main character is going to be represented by the Eight of Cups. This is giving a little bit of avoidant personality. This may be borderline as well. I'm just going to check here for a second. Actually, that's fine. Could be schizotypal. I believe it's typo. If you'd like to correct me on that, you're welcome to. Also, I hope to not lose too much light. I did start a little late in the day here on my end. If that is the case, just bear with me. I might find some suitable lighting at some point. As far as a background goes, we have the Five of Pentacles. So this is someone who probably didn't start off the easiest way. Again, this might be schizotypical, I think. Or schizotypal, sorry. I may or may not ever get that right. As far as ambitions go, we have the Seven of Wands and the Fool. So this is someone who kind of struggles to, I don't know, accept themselves or maybe the world around them. This is someone who, or maybe they intend to struggle so that people do enjoy the world around them, they tend to struggle for their own personal freedom, possibly. Again, this is sounding like schizotypal. In addition to our Five of Pentacles as a background, we also have the Moon and the Five of Wands. So I would say that this person has been very bewildered by their environment, maybe not the most conducive for relaxing, could have found the world to be rather hostile. So yeah, I'm thinking schizotypal. I'm going to attempt to do something. Oof. The attempt wasn't as graceful as I wished, but it was successful nonetheless. There we go. Because I'm sure that we are going to run out of light very shortly. I might just put this here. Yeah, actually that's wonderful. How wonderful. Wow, we love a happy accident. At the same time, I was thinking of Bob Ross when I said that. Schizotypal? Typal. Ugh, I'll get that right one day. I was hoping by the end of today. We also have, yeah, this lighting's great. We also have the Two of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, this is someone who may have lived in a lot of confusion, possibly highly sensitive, especially with the Five of Pentacles here. Gives you a closer look at that. I'll try at least. They're destitute if you can't picture that. We also have on the far end, we have Judgment over the Adolescent of Wands. So yeah, this is someone who is deemed weird. Their enthusiasm is seen as inappropriate. Yeah. Yeah. It's just kind of sad. We also have the Elder of Cups and the Four of Cups above. So this is someone who maybe has like a kind of like a deep understanding of other people, and is not recognized for it. Oh, is this me? No, I'm just kidding. I know which one I am. Although I do think that, well, I'm histrionic. I do think that histrionic and schizo. See, I'm trying to say the last part before the first part. Schizotypal. I think that they are relevant in their presentation in the world, or at least how they are perceived as being inappropriate in some form or another. This is another one of our, and I should have done this before we did the video, but I did not do an analysis on how the other personalities interact with the schizotypal, but I can do a quick rundown for you. You know, I won't run down all of them to bore you to death, but I'll tell you what I think is pertinent for this personality. I guess a little bit more clarification on identifying the schizotypal individual. They are seen as being how should I describe that? they're what you might typically call crazy. Um, it might be a little bit tinfoil hat ish. They could be spiritually manic. They could believe in spirits, entities, predicting the future. If you do believe in these things, it does not mean that you're schizotypal. Again, I think that is more, that's a relatively booming cultural phenomenon. It's gaining lots of relevance to believe in more than what is seen. I think a little bit of I think a disclaimer is appropriate for a lot of these personality types. They are a bit dictated by a stable mindset or perspective, and the stable mindset or perspective is a little bit lacking in imagination. So they're deemed as normal, but I think normal is relative. So again, this is not a critique on the belief of the unseen. There are forces in the world that humans have yet to understand, so I don't understand how this became it is indicated as a disorder because of its inability to be harmonious with the rest of society. I do think that society in general is a little bit limited to some of the personality types. I think specifically for the histrionic and the schizotypal, as well as antisocial. I also think that the avoidant struggles with modern society a lot, and paranoid does as well. So just because our schizotypal personality does not fit the norm of society doesn't mean that it's wrong. And this is exactly what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss how it is that we are going to accept individuals how we're going to accept individuals who do not fall into a stable personality type. I think it's rather important because there's no way for us to get rid of that personality type, and if we try to get rid of that personality type, we would be inappropriate. As a little bit of an assessment on what level the schizotypal, well, we'll say first, the schizotypal is a low extroversion, low agreeable individual. There's an individual who's low in the traits of extroversion and agreeability. This does not mean that they are mean or lacking energy. They do tend to have a bit of energy, and they can be quite agreeable depending on who it is they're interacting with. I think those traits are more of an indicator of the desire to be seen in extroversion, and the desire to compromise with individuals around them. A schizotypal is not one to compromise their beliefs, especially because they're usually strong spiritual beliefs or beliefs on society as a whole. And I think that with all of the news coming out about the hidden agendas of our particular government here in America, I think that we might owe a lot of schizotypal or conspiracy theorists some apology. I think the Epstein files alone and how it is being addressed is a good indicator that our society is a bit of a game that only some people know the rules of, and only some people can actually actively play. Okay? Alright? Now, I was not in the schizotypal environment before recently when all of this was happening with the Epstein files, and then I started learning about American history. And if you do not know too much about American history, it is a wild ride. So if you do like a bit of drama, I think it can be rather entertaining for you and educational. I believe that the schizotypal individual is rather low on, well, let me first say that their levels of extroversion and agreeability have no priority, like some other personalities where they might prioritize extroversion, whether it's high or low, or they might prioritize agreeability, whether it's high or low. This type does not prioritize. They are just simply low in both. So they're not necessarily, yes, they're not necessarily disagreeable, but they're not necessarily show-offy, if you will. I think as far as dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin go, they are a bit low on all of these. They are rather sporadic. These things are not too much on their radar to promote dopamine in others or to experience dopamine from others. As well as serotonin, again, they are not consistent enough to provide comfortability to those around them, so they do not provide that. And the comfortability to a schizotypal individual may seem as more of a distraction to understanding the world around them. As far as oxytocin goes, again, they are rather low in it, but I do believe that they could develop a oxytocin-like relationship with a trusted individual, but that would take some time and there would be some ups and downs before they got there. As far as their potential of finding a soulmate, it is rather low. But I do not think that is high on their priority list. If you're watching this and you're schizotypal, and I'm shocked and pleased to have you here. I hope that this is informative for you, since this might not be a way for you to, I might not be playing the role of matchmaker for you, but I am definitely going to provide you the information I know about others, and I'm here to support you in your endeavor to understand the world. I would say some possible good relationships for the schizotypal would be maybe another schizotypal, but I think that might be on a friend basis. I think a lot of this could be on a friend basis. As far as family members go, I think someone who is stable, surprise, surprise, shows up again. I think the stable personality is going to show up a lot for a lot of people, just because it's kind of nice to have someone consistently there. You guys are quite opposite of each other, but you know, opposites can attract. With that being said, I do not believe that you should be going with your opposite for everything. Definitely use your discernment with that. But I do think that some level of similarity is needed in order to make a consistent relationship. Oof. You might. Oof, not that one. You may actually get quite along with antisocial, I think. I think that you would admire their desire to go against the grain. I think you both are a little bit of a rule breaker. The antisocial is a little bit more physical about that. Definitely befriending antisocial in the form of maybe protection, I think would be quite suitable. Um, so that might be all I have. Is another schizotypal typo. Sorry. Another a stable personality or an antisocial personality seems like you're kind of like your best bets here. Um, I really do think that a schizotypal and an antisocial would make a rather a rather lovely couple. Excuse me while I do something here. I just have to make sure that my battery doesn't die. Otherwise, you won't get this video and you won't get this information. And information is key. Knowledge is power. Yeah, I do think that a schizotypal and an antisocial would make a lovely pairing, whether that's friend, family, or lover. I think you guys could be a force to be reckoned with, especially in what it, I think that a schizotypal will give purpose to an antisocial, and antisocial will give some support to the schizotypal. So I think that's a lovely pairing. Um, in order for a schizotypal to find an antisocial, I mean, it's going to be rather easy. An antisocial is going to be rather blatant in their disregard for social norms, rules, or regulations. So, just go out and keep your eyes peeled. I would definitely approach them with some of your theories. I think that they might enjoy that. I think that they might enjoy that. I think that they'll be rather intrigued. I think they'll be rather intrigued by your lack of fear of them too. As you might be different, but schizotype will tend to not be fearful of physical people, like more like um, aggressive people. They tend to be more skeptical of those who use manipulation or mental tactics. Like I would say, definitely stay away from the narcissists or the narcissistic personality. You likely already do. I would also definitely stay away from the obsessive. They will not let you be who you are, and that's not what we want. I think you would stay away from borderline as well. They're going to try to save you, but you're also trying to save them. So I think that's a very interesting hero versus hero type of energy. I would definitely say the schizotypal is like a bit of an anti-hero or yeah, a little bit of an unorthodox type of hero. It's very interesting. I would definitely stay away from the paranoid and the schizoid. You guys will only exacerbate each other's traits unless that is what you're looking for. If you're looking for someone to let you know when something weird is happening, I would talk to a paranoid. If you want to talk to someone about how messed up the world is, you could talk to a schizoid. I think that would be, I think that would supply a bit of camaraderie between the three of you. You guys are on the same level of extroversion and agreeability, so all three of you don't tend to like people on a personal level. I do think the schizotypal does appreciate people on a humanitarian sense, but as far as like person to person, I don't think you're very keen on them. I think those would be good matches for you. The ones I said, avoid the ones that I said to avoid, or do anything that you actually want to do. Honestly, The schizotypal is going to know more, is going to know more than me about these things, about their discernment. I would definitely trust, as a schizotypal individual, I definitely would trust your intuition. That's your strongest asset. Um, if you have a hunch, you have a hunch. If you think something is wrong, something is wrong. If you're confused, stressed, or pressed about something, you are indeed confused, stressed, or pressed about something, and you should take action to avoid that. I definitely wouldn't get hostile with anybody, but I would encourage you to avoid anyone that you feel like you should avoid. Um, yes. I'm going to pull some gratitude cards so we can do a little bit of a deeper dive into how it is that we can appreciate this personality a bit more as people who don't reside in that personality. Again, thank you for coming to my charm school. You really didn't have to, and I'm really surprised that you're here. Maybe the tarot card part, might be interesting to you. I don't know. It depends on what type of schizotypal you might be. You could be what I would consider more of a earthly schizotypal, where you're more concerned about government conspiracies, cryptids, but again, it kind of starts blending into what I would consider the spiritual schizotypal, where that is like messages from beyond, frequencies from like intergalactic frequencies again, but depending on how deep you go into any one of those directions, there are conspiracies that combine both these aspects, I think, really well. So you may be interested in tarot cards. There might be something there. I do think that tarot cards work on a form of frequency, and they can reveal a lot of things hidden. They're usually used to reveal what is not known, whether that's past or future. So I don't tend to do well. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should do that. I think that would be a fun start. If you'd like to humor me on that, we could dig a little bit into the future, or the past, some confirmations for you. I think that would be interesting. So yeah, what do our schizotypal personalities need to know right now? Anything that I reveal is not to my previous knowledge. So don't come after me if I reveal any top secret anythings. All right? I don't know. I'm a histrionic. I don't know. I'm involved with me and my image, so whatever anyone else has going on, I have dedicated myself to relationships, all right? So whatever conspiracies are going on that have nothing to do with relationships is not my forte, all right? I'm dropping a lot of cards today. All right, I think I'm gonna start with these three, and I am going to show you the bottom of the deck. And before I show you the bottom of the deck, this is going to reveal maybe like the area of concern for our audience today. And that is going to be the Eight of Wands. So something fast paced, something's happening. This could be, I don't know why I'm getting like war. yeah, something like in motion. Which could be any conspiracy, honestly. We're gonna start with the Adolescent of Swords. So this is someone who's very enthusiastic about their the news, their communicate not the news, but their news or whatever it is that they've discovered, their deep intellectual thought. So this could be this is giving me, I don't know why, but this is giving me AI energy. Um, yeah, with the fast paced moving of the wands, and then we have the Adolescent of Swords. I'm just going with the first thing that comes to my head. I'm not trying to think about it. All right. We also have the Two of Wands on one side and the Magician on the other. So this is like kind of like what, gathering information. I don't know, like some type of the energy gathering. I want to say like some type of siphoning. Again, I'm just saying things. All right. Um, we also have the Death card and the Five of Wands. So this is going to be, again, I'm getting war, or like a big time type of war, or like, I don't know, it's giving me have you ever seen a Full Metal Alchemist when they tried to do the Philosopher's Stone and they had to like kill a whole like, or unalive, sorry, unalive a whole town of people, something like that. We also have another Two of Wands in Judgment, so this is like big turning point. I don't know what AI has to do with that, but maybe it's like information gathering, or maybe someone's already said this with the Adolescent of Swords. I'm sorry, I don't usually do my tarot cards like this. I usually just use them as like a talking point. But yeah, this is something like this is something like, I don't know, it's very conspiracy. It's very like you don't know you don't know the what the information gathering is actually for. Um um yeah, big judgment call, big changes, big conflicts, fast pace, very high energy, something fast. And the magician there is very like, I don't know, it's like pseudo mythical. Like again, it's kind of giving me what we were talking about with um the types of schizotypal, like you might be interested in a heavy government conspiracy, but you might be also really into a very spiritual perspective. And I think that this is a little bit of that combination. This is very like, I don't know, people against people with these, with the twos out here. This is big, like with the coins is very siphoning, very energy, very money, very resources, um, getting rid of people for a particular resource. Again, with a full metal alchemist philosopher's stone thing, this could be with the magician is a little bit like maybe finding the philosopher's stone, or like prolonging some type of life force, maybe invoking something, some type of energy. This could be eldritch type of magic if you're into the magic part of the schizotypal. um Big, like it's almost giving me end of days. I mean, not to be like, I don't know, I'm just saying it's giving me Armageddon-ish. It's giving me Rapture-ish, Revelations, but not like, I don't think very like finite, like the world's gonna end tomorrow type of thing. But this is very much like biblical things are happening. I don't know, this seems like a phrase from something. You might have gotten this information from like a movie. It's giving me a little bit I don't know why Hercules is coming to mind, like when he was releasing the Titans. So it's like kind of like, that's what I mean by the Eldritch kind of thing. I might pull some more cards for this. That's interesting. And a lot of them are falling on the ground, so it's like, I guess these are things like, maybe these are things that cannot be like stopped, or they're really underground, maybe. We also we had the Elder of Swords, the Sun, and the Four of Cups. Um, this is giving a benefit for someone in particular, someone who wants more. Again, this could be someone who's well known. It's giving me almost like, this is almost celebrity-esque, like someone who has so much money they don't know what else to do. Like they don't have to worry about like regular human needs, so they're focusing on something a little bit bigger than that. Again, this if I'm revealing any secrets, if I'm revealing any secrets, I'm just reading this as if it were a comic book. I'm just taking references from movies. It's giving a little bit of like, well, I said the news before, but I mean, it's giving a little bit of news heavy. Like this is with the Sun card, is like this is someone who's well known. With the Elder of Swords, this is giving me someone who is like really sure about their communication. They don't say everything that they want to say, they know exactly what to say. So this is giving me like some type of official, but an official who is like almost well spoken or well known. I don't know why I said almost well spoken, because the Elder of Swords should represent someone who's well spoken, but I think that it's like, it's one of those things where it's like if it's a recording of somebody and you pause it, you're like, did you see that? Did you see that? Type of energy. I mean, I just might be really invoking the schizotypical energy right now. I mean, this is pretty fun. I mean, it's very dramatic. And, you know, as a histrionic, I love drama. But, well, no, I don't love drama. I love theatrical drama. I love movie drama. I don't like real drama. But that might just be me. I think there's probably lots of histrionics who just like regular. Well, I feel like it's a little bit more like the narcissist like drama. I think the histrionics and the narcissists get confused in a sense on what you might think pertains to them. And then we have the Child of Swords. So this is giving me like stay informed, stay open. It's giving me also like, have you seen Steven Universe, the Fry guy with the curly hair? And they were like, he was talking about lizard people and thinking like, and he was like talking about like the crystal gems as if they were like lizard people, and like he was almost right about everything except for what he called them. Like the terminology was wrong, but everything that was happening was right. Like with the cluster, I don't know if there's something like, again, underground cluster. It's also given me Stranger Things with that little portal thing. Again, Eldritch type of energy. It's very summoning type. It's like using your science to prove spirituality right or wrong or whatever it is. It's like heavy religious influence, but in a like a almost like a practical sense, or like to make it like as real as possible, or like what do we actually need to do that? Again, Philosopher's Stone, where it's a little bit like mythical, but they use the military, real people, you know, like real strategies. I saw 4343 when I saw that to execute this. You know, and maybe I'm saying all this and this is entertaining for the schizotypals out there, or for those who are not schizotypal. Like this is kind of like an example of what would go through their, like this is the stuff that they would be investigating in. So if you're antisocial and you're interested in this, then you would be, again, a really good partner for a schizotypal. Like, you know, I don't know why I'm getting like ex-military with a technologically advanced schizotypal. I think you guys would make a really lovely at least partnership that could turn into some form of romance, maybe. Which I think would, I mean, if they did a like, But you know how if they did like an anime, like like on Crunchyroll, if they did like an anime on that, I think that would be so cute. It's giving me a little bit like, I feel like the schizotypal is like L from Death Note. Um, and if Light Yagami was more into the police force already and wasn't actually the evil person, if you haven't seen Death Note, then it's not really a spoiler because they start off the first, they start off the first episode with Light being a little bit like narcissistic. Honestly, I would say Light is a good representation of a narcissist, and schizotypical, I feel like their relationship is really a really good, clear dynamic, because the schizotypical will see right through the narcissist. No matter how hard the narcissist, no matter how smart the narcissist is, they are going to see through that shit. We also have the 10 of Wands at the bottom, so this is like an ongoing struggle, and I think this is really interesting. I'm gonna come back to my center and come out of this schizotypal energy real quick, because that was wild, and I do not want to know anything about this. I don't want to know anything about this. But I do think that it's important to understand that evil does exist in the world, and it will always exist. There's no way to get rid of it. There's only ways to defend against it. I think by not investing in it with your energy, your time, or your money. So if you are concerned about anything like this, I definitely would not invest any money into anything that you do not know where that money is going to be used for. Again, autonomy is going to be the best way to avoid such things. The more in control of you are of your own life, the less power evil forces will have over you. It's one of those vampire things where you have to let them in. They need permission to come in. You have to. It's like a demon, like any other type of demon. You have to, like, as far as I know about possessions in this, it just comes mostly from movies. You have to invite the entity into your body, so definitely do not do that. If you are spiritually inclined, definitely do not be like, don't say, like, I would say things more like, my body is mine alone, no one but me has permission to reside in it, something like that. If you are spiritually concerned, I would say things like that. But applying that into like the earthly realm, I suppose, or the matrix, as a schizotypical might describe it. You things that ask for funding or money for things like that, make sure you know where that money is going. If you buy a product from something, like, I mean, we have lots of big wigs, like with Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. What was that? That's I think there's another one too, but if they own a company, you don't know what they're using that money for, I would definitely not invest in anything that they are selling, and that's something that maybe I should consider, because as I know that Amazon, if anything, is just terrible for the environment, and also really bad for your self-esteem. And it just sells shoddy goods. I am someone who tends to frequent that site often, so I guess I should take my own advice, because I don't want to invest in something that's going to do something like the cluster from Steven Universe or anything like that. But I mean, this was from Amazon. I justified buying it because I was like, well, I'm gonna wear it a lot. So I try to be more like cautious about my money as far as like my spending goes, but I guess I should be more cautious about my money as far as what I'm investing in, unknowingly investing in. And I think that, people like the schizotypal or typal, that's something that we should appreciate. Them bringing things to light that would not normally be brought to light. They are going to see through things, kind of like the schizoid individual. They're going to see through lots of things. The paranoid could have that ability too, if they weren't looking so hard into everything. But I think that definitely the schizotypal individual is someone to kind of like listen to some degree. Like, you know, when it comes to like Walmart, and you know, you buy everything from, when Walmart was a thing. I don't know if Walmart's still a thing, but when Walmart was coming out and everyone was buying everything from Walmart because everything was $5, you later on realized that the people that work there weren't getting paid anything, with no health benefits, no vacation or nothing. You know, so what you do has an effect on other people. And since we are here in the Temple of Aphrodite, um, our interactions with other people are very important here in this realm, in my realm. So what I do affecting other living creatures is really important to me. So I haven't been in a Walmart in who knows how long, but I think Amazon has really taken over that. Um, so, you know, you, I think that investing in small shops is a big thing, but with the economy so crazy, and I know I'm about relationships, but sometimes these things just kind of like show up. Sometimes these things affect each other, and sometimes I have to talk about it. But yeah, making sure that artists have like jobs so that they can, you know, support themselves, because I do think that a lot of I think that a lot of personalities can fall into the artist realm, and we want to make sure that those personalities have like a space in the world, because they need one. They're gonna be here, so they need a place to be. Kind of like how we should think about people, but we kind of say like, if you don't have the money, then you just have to be on the street. But yeah. But I do, again, I do think that the schizotypal individual has been talking about these conspiracies like the Epstein files, and we are just figuring that out right now. I mean, it's been going on for such a long time, if you have done any research on it. And a lot of enterprises have been in the mix of it, which is probably the reason why no one's being held accountable, because it's just the system in which we are in really depended on that aspect, which is kind of crazy that they depended so much on abusing children and young people, and women, or the feminine identified. Um, I think that it's really like, I mean, it's kind of something to think about, how our system is based on um, like hurting people, and I definitely think that there's no room to hurt people in the Temple of Aphrodite. There's no room for it if it's not consensual and just a game. If it's a fetish, that's one thing, or like if it's a consensual kink, then I'm all for it. But if it's not, then I have no space here in the temple for it. All right. Um, so yeah, I feel like that was a very interesting little journey to go through. Um, I will be glad to be out of this energy, because it's heavy. It's heavy, heavy, heavy. I don't know what to do with it besides just move to like a different country, but it does feel like it's a little bit more of a global census, considering what Israel is doing with the Middle East and all that. And yeah. The battle of capitalism and communism is also a very interesting thing. And also, just like the inacceptance of different personalities is definitely something that's going to cause a battle between multiple groups against each other. But anyway, I'm gonna go back to being beautiful and not so deep in the mix. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did not enjoy the video, I don't blame you. And I completely understand. I mean, that's your choice, and I completely understand. I mean, I'm completely respecting of that. I hope that you have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night. If you do not wish to have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, and night, instead you want to go take down some organizations or whatever it is that you schizotypical antisocial people might do or whatever. Again, I'm going to stay out of it. I'm I'm gonna stay out of it. I'm just here to pair you guys up. Whatever you guys do after the matchmaking happens is whatever you guys do. It's not my business. Um, yeah. Whatever you do, I totally respect it. Um, yeah. Until next time, guys. I'll see you.